that. Finally thank all of you for being here, and I just can't wait till the bell rings, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who feels that way.
Thank you, Kathy. Well, when a fight is this big, it always takes two promoters, and I'm going to introduce you to Kathy's colleague. But you know, whenever I'm in the same room as this gentleman, you know, I like to dress up and look good, but I always know that when he's in the room, that at the best, I'm going to be second best. So please allow me to introduce the sartorial president and chief of branding and strategy at Rock Nation, Mr. Michael Yormark.
Thank you very much. Honesty is the best policy. So I'm going to start this off with a giant dose of honesty. For the next 48 hours, you're probably going to hear a lot of respect and admiration between these two undefeated fighters. The simple fact is, we are just 2 days away from the biggest fight of the year, and I don't expect them to admire one another. But who can blame them? The only thing standing between an undefeated record and boxing immortality is each other. That adds a layer of distaste and very sharp edge to a fight that is already set to be an absolute classic. My perspective on this fight is pretty simple. Saturday night is going to be a tough night for Sergey, when he is systematically picked apart by the world's best pound-for-pound boxer, Andre Ward. I've known Andre for quite a few years, and I've never seen him more focused, more determined, more motivated, more prepared for the biggest fight of his career. These moments are the ones that generational athletes live for and they dream about. This is an opportunity to make history, to write the latest chapter in Andre's legend, and frankly, close the book on Sergey's. Make no mistake about it. Team Ward has come to Vegas to win and to walk out of Sin City with three, I repeat, three new championship belts. Boxing needs a fight like this. Two undefeated fighters in their prime, edges sharpened by natural competitiveness as well as an utter dislike. Fighting on the world's biggest stage at T-Mobile Arena and on HBO pay-per-view. It doesn't get any better or bigger. Epic is the only word to describe it. And as a lifelong boxing fan, I am thrilled to be a first-hand witness. I'd like to recognize the official fight partners that we have secured for this event. Our presenting partner, Corona, as well as Monster Products, Jetlux, Zappos, Jordan Brand, and Shoe Palace. I know that Daniel Kinghorn from Corona is here today. Thank you so much for your support. Mark Raveling, thank you for your support as well from the Jordan Brand. And of course, Noel Lee, the founder of Monster. Noel, thank you for coming today. I'd also like to thank Andre's fight partners, including Pro Subs and Lift, Monster Products, Body Armor, and Jetlux, as well as his long-standing partners, Jordan Brand, Power Hands, and Shoe Palace. This support and the support from fans and the media is a stark recognition of Andre as a true once-in-a-generation type athlete. His skill in the ring is matched only by his commitment to family and community. His competitiveness equaled only by his charisma. At Rock Nation, we are honored to represent this man, an Olympic gold medalist, undefeated since he was 13 years old, the pride of Oakland, and of course, the next light heavyweight champion of the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Well, when you have a big fight like this, along with that goes a big undercard. We have great fights on the undercard. You all know about them. But as well as the promoters doing their job and the venue and the site and all the things that are involved, the commission has an unbelievable task ahead of them. They have to make sure everybody meets all the safety standards and weighs in properly, and the gloves are taken care of, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the job of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. And for many, many years now, they've done one heck of a job. So let me introduce to you the Executive Director of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Mr. Bob Bennett.
Thank you very much, Michael. Good afternoon, and it's nice to see everybody. As always, it's unequivocally a pleasure and an honor for the Nevada State Athletic Commission to regulate this very sensational and championship fight. This event should be second to none. You should know that we take our job very seriously, and we've done our homework, and we're ready to go to work. At this time, we would like to thank Kathy Duva, the main events, and Michael Yormark, I was close, from Rock Nation for having this electric championship fight in the fight capital of the world. We'd also like to recognize Richard Sturm and the MGM for hosting this event at the T-Mobile, HBO, of course, for broadcasting this event, and for the shows leading up to the event that were definitely entertaining and interesting. And last but not least, we want to recognize and thank the warriors, all of the fighters, because without them, none of us would be here. So thank you very much. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thank you, Bob. Well, the promoters are doing their job, the Athletic Commission does their job, and we're all here at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, home to many, many big super events, many great entertainment events, Grammys, award shows. The Latin Grammys are here tonight. And that involves a lot of work, and it takes somebody very special to handle it. And the person that's been doing that for quite a few years would like to say a few words with us this afternoon, the President of Entertainment and Sports, MGM Resorts International, Mr. Richard Sturm.
Thank you, Michael. Good afternoon, and welcome to all the media, fighters, and partners at Main Events and Rock Nation Sports, the HBO team, and fight fans worldwide. We are thrilled to once again have the opportunity to host an international championship fight at the T-Mobile Arena. This weekend, we'll close our company's boxing calendar as Russian Sergey Kovalev battles American Andre Ward. We look forward to this matchup of these two undefeated fighters. Kovalev returns to Las Vegas following his 2015 knockout win over Mohammedi at Mandalay Bay, while Andre Ward and his team make their Las Vegas debut. As we have seen over the last 7 months, T-Mobile Arena has quickly changed the landscape of entertainment and sports in Las Vegas, and we look forward to continuing that tradition. We'd like to give a special thanks to Kathy Duva and Main Events team, Michael Yormark, and the Rock Nation staff, both fight camps, Tony Walker with HBO Pay-Per-View, and Bob Bennett of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Once again, thanks for being here, and look forward to seeing you Saturday night. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Well, the standard bearer for broadcasting big-time fights for practically 4 decades now has been HBO and HBO Sports. And they always know how to put on a good show. They always make sure the fighters involved are of the highest caliber, and that's what we have here on Saturday night. as two of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world actually face each other in the ring, both undefeated. And HBO Sports will be presenting this as a pay-per-view event. So let me bring up here to say a few words the Vice President of HBO Pay-Per-View, Mr. Tony Walker.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you all for coming out today to talk about the great sport of boxing. I would like to thank Rock Nation and Main Events and their staffs for putting together such a great main event, and also a fantastic undercard that we will televise on Saturday night. The wonderful thing about the main event is it's been a very, very long time since two elite fighters have made their pay-per-view debut against each other. And credit to Andre and Sergey for coming together and making this a big-time event. And all of the elements are there for it to be a big fight. Both fighters have plied their trade over several years, fighting everyone who got in their way, winning, they're undefeated, all the pride in the world. But most importantly, the outcome is in doubt. I think there's a quite diverse group of opinions among you out there as to who's going to win the fight, and that is what sells pay-per-view. For those of you who have not seen some of the HBO video pieces that were produced to us to showcase the fight and the fighters, I would encourage you to go to HBO On Demand, HBO Go, or some of the HBO digital channels like HBO.com and check out those shows. They're provocative, entertaining, and I think they're going to get you all primed for Saturday night. This month in November, there's been several high-profile pay-per-view shows. And I have to give thanks to our distributors on the cable TV, satellite, and telco side who have promoted this pay-per-view show, who have given us a great presence in the marketplace, and really given it its due, with all the other stuff that's going on. So we have a great broadcast team on Saturday night. The telecast starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. The pay-per-view suggested retail price is a very attractive $54.95. And we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much. And thanks to our friends at the MGM Grand who are so hospitable and always extend the welcome mat. We're very glad to be here.
Thank you, Tony. Well, when you have a great production, whether it's in a motion picture or in a pay-per-view boxing event, a good supporting cast makes the main event even better. And both Main Events and Rock Nation have put together some fantastic fights on our undercards. So if the promoters would like to tell us something about these outrageously great fights in this good undercard, let's start off with Kathy Duva and tell us about the undercard for Main Events.
So when we sat down to decide what kind of fight we could put together to be our televised fight, we decided we wanted to find a fight that was just as unpredictable as the main event in its outcome, with relevant fighters, relevant to this weight class, because it seems to me that a lot of activity, a lot of action is going to be in this division for both the winner and the loser, because in this type of a fight, everybody wins. So don't worry, Andre. I had to do it. I'm sorry. I couldn't. The devil made me do it. But anyway, getting back to we think that the gentlemen that are going to be fighting in our co-featured fight, NABF light heavyweight champion Alexander the Nail Rovdik, who's undefeated, making a lot of noise in the light heavyweight division. He's from Ukraine. He's going to be fighting Isaac Golden Boy Chilemba, who was originally from Malawi and fighting out of Johannesburg, South Africa. They're going to take part in a 10-round light heavyweight fight, a true crossroads fight where I honestly have no idea who's going to win. Obviously, Main Events is with Isaac, who put up a tremendous fight with Sergey and a few months ago, and I think just simply never gets the credit he deserves. He is I think, quite possibly the second best light heavyweight in the world. And I know Isaac has designs on coming back strong and impressing everyone Saturday night. Also opening the broadcast, the televised undercard, I should say, WBA Continental America's middleweight champion Curtis the cerebral assassin Stevens of Brownsville, Brooklyn, one of the most fun fighters in the whole business. Curtis, you brighten up our day every day. He's going to be facing James the King de la Rosa, 23-4, of San Benito, Texas, in a 10-round middleweight bout. This has all the earmarks of a train wreck, but Curtis is on his way. He has his sights set on much bigger and better things, and I know he and James are going to be working very hard to impress because the middleweight division is hot and there's a lot of opportunity there. So that is Main Event's contribution to the televised card. Thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you, Kathy. And Michael, you've got some pretty good fights featured on the undercard. You want to tell us about them?
So Rock Nation is proud to work with a number of talented fighters on the undercard, starting with Dallas native Maurice Mighty Mo Hooker, who is putting his undefeated record and NABO Junior welterweight title on the line against Darlis Perez on HBO pay-per-view. We will also feature rising heavyweight superstar Darmani Rock Solid Rock of Philadelphia as he looks to improve to 6-0 debut. Opening up the Freeview telecast on the pay-per-view events channel prior to the official telecast will be an 8-round junior welterweight bout featuring undefeated rising prospect Sonny Pretty Boy Fredrickson of Toledo, Ohio. The Freeview will also be available through live streaming on HBO Boxing's YouTube channel. Fredrickson will take on Gabriel DeLuc of Boston, Massachusetts. Another Toledo, Ohio native with an unblemished record, Tyler Golden Child McCreary, will go toe-to-toe with Vincent Pooh Bear Jennings of Grand Rapids, Michigan in an 8-round featherweight bout. Fans will be able to catch the matchup on the Freeview portion of KOVALEV-WARD as well. Meanwhile, national hero and 2-time Olympic gold medalist Clarissa Shields will make her much anticipated professional debut on the Freeview broadcast. She will be taking on longtime rival Franchon Cruz, who will also be making her pro debut in a 4-round middleweight bout. Simply put, boxing fans are in for a real treat on Saturday night. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Well, speaking of a real treat, this is one of the favorite parts of press conferences, when we get to meet the managers and the trainers and the fighters themselves. And this might be as good as the main event on Saturday night. So let me bring up first somebody I've known for quite a few years, and he's the entertaining pride of Houston, Texas, Mr. James Prince, the manager of Andre Ward.
Thanks, Mike. I'd like to thank God for this opportunity, HBO, the commitment, the sacrifices they made to bring this fight to us, the MGM Grant, Mr. Stern. We appreciate Rock Nation, you know, our promoter, Jay-Z, Dez, all of those that's in the background supporting Mike, and definitely like to thank Mike. He's been on the line of duty doing a great job. Antonio Leonard is in the house. We appreciate you, Tony, and all that you do. And, you know, the list goes on and on. I feel really grateful for this opportunity, and I speak on behalf of Team Ward. We've been looking forward to this day. It's here, and I'm gonna deal with the elephant in the room. This is Russia versus the United States of America is what we're dealing with. Russia versus the United States of America. And in my opinion, the best of Russia can't beat the best of the United States of America in nothing. So I just need that to be said. Yeah, it is what it is. The best of Russia can't beat the United States of America in nothing. And that's what's happening. You know, we have a Russian fighter over here, Kovalev. Hey, we respect your fight game. You're a great fighter. And you remind me of KOVALEV. We have my man Andre Ward over here, whom I consider David. I don't know if y'all understand that story, KOVALEV and David, but that's what we're dealing with right here. And come Saturday night, we're gonna have an opportunity to see the modern day David, which is Andre Ward, defeat KOVALEV. Now, I mentioned this in the last press conference in New York, and Miss Duver, she said to me when she got up to the podium that Andre Ward don't have a sword. That's correct. Or a slingshot, either one of them, or a stone. But she missed the real substance of the story where David and Goliath is concerned. She missed the anointing that is on David. You know, his obedience. You know what I mean? All of these different spiritual realms where David was concerned. And he's finna fight the SOG. You know what I mean? That's the son of God, if y'all didn't know. That's Andre Ward. So, no, we don't have a sword. So we can't cut his head off and raise it up as David did, like Andre Ward gonna raise the belts up come Saturday night. But we plan on beating the head up so bad until you're gonna need all type of instruments to fix it. Thank you.
I told you to be good. Well, let's stick with Team Ward right now, and I'd like to bring up, you know, both of these fighters, they both have really, really outstanding trainers. So let me bring up the trainer for Andre Ward, Mr. Virgil Hunter.
Great to be here. Glad to be participating in an event like this. As I said yesterday, I've been saying, and glad to see everybody here. I've been here for many fights and see the media room filled for this event. It really makes me feel good. I'd like to thank Peter Nelson and HBO and their staff, my Rap a Lot family. I'd like to thank Mr. Stern for all he's done, provided. And I also like to thank the press, no matter who you choose to win, who you choose to push forward. That's your prerogative, and you most certainly deserve it. I didn't really want to come up too much today. You know, I turned 63 last Wednesday, and it's no secret now that, you know, I've worked with youth most of my professional career. I was just reflecting last night on, I can remember some young men, 13 that I knew, and buried them at 15. And, you know, I've seen it all. So it does have an emotional effect on me when it comes to young men. And, you know, I realize that even the age of Sergey and Andre, they're young men to me. And watching that my fight and what Sergey had to endure, it really touched me. And I'm not up here just saying this just to be saying it. It really touched me deeply. And, you know, my heart went out to it. And of course, everybody now knows Andre's background. It's been 8 weeks and a lot of things have come out, and we've chose to keep quiet for the various reasons that we need to keep quiet, because things fly around pretty quick, and until you can get everybody in the room, it's always a mystery to what actually is really going on. I had the great pleasure yesterday of doing a ring debate with Coach Jackson, and even though he has sniped me and questioned, my credentials, which he's entitled to, I walked away from that debate with respect for him. I never had disrespect for him, but I had more respect for him. So I was sort of alluding to yesterday that I was troubled by a few things, some things that I had observed in the camp, whether Sergey listens to Coach Jackson or not, when it comes to doing things his way. So imagine getting up this morning and realizing within myself that we heard about the troubles in Russia and how Sergey was overwhelmed with family and friends and things and selling the tickets and things like that, and it didn't allow him to put on the performance that was expected of him. Although we do have to give Isaac Shalimba a lot of credit with the attitude to come to win. We do have to give him his portion of the credit. I think what disturbs me most is that Coach Jackson didn't get there till a week before the fight. Now, Ms. Duva, with all respect, in New York, introduced Coach Jackson as the best trainer in boxing. And I'm trying to figure out in my mind, why would you leave the best trainer in boxing behind until a week before the fight? So maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know, but that seems to be the case. And it's not airing out trash, it's leaving questions to be asked. I can't answer it. And if I am wrong, then I'll even feel better about it. As I said yesterday, the respect that I gained for Coach Jackson yesterday, and being in the coaching fraternity is a very difficult fraternity. And so I tend to align myself with every coach because it's so tough. So that's the case. Also, and this is real, it's not easy to get out because, again, looking at how Sergey lost his dad, man, early. All these things affect you when you're young. I never came up around my real father, and I often wondered, what would I have been? Maybe if he'd have been there. I'm thankful for how things turned out. I had a great stepdad, and he was really the only dad that I knew. And this is a 50-50 fight, but the pay doesn't reflect that. How does the challenger get a boatload of money, but the champion don't? I don't understand that. I think those are some questions that need to be asked. And everybody here is saying, well, you're doing it. No, it's not like that. I'm really torn by it because, again, until you've been in my shoes and have worked with young men and seen the sufferings of things, you never know. But I don't understand it. Maybe he was fine with it, or maybe it's not true, and that would be the best news I can get. But again, I might just be blowing smoke and rattling, and when I'm saying rattling up here, because it is something that really bothered me, and call me weird or whatever you want to call me, or later on if you have to remark on what I've said today, you're entitled to remark the way you want to remark. But if everybody's fine with it, then I'm fine with it. But it did bother me. Getting to the fight, I believe it's going to be a great fight. And I believe that Sergey is everything that they say he is. He's a dangerous opponent. He's coming intending to win. We've seen him do things to opponents that when they step in the ring, they shiver. And I think that he carries that persona with him justifiably. So really it's up to us to, dilute that situation. So I'm looking forward to November 19th. And I'd like to see all these, you know, Sergey's 33 now, Andre's 32. You know, this is an age in boxing. When you make a remark that there was a time when fighters were courageous and not cynical businessmen, I think that takes us back to the 40s or the 50s. You know, you fight, I'll do your business, and then when you finish fighting, you look up and you don't have no money. But in the meantime, my grandkids going to college on your blood, sweat, and tears. And in the meantime, you can take a bow at the next fight 10 years from now, and everybody tell you how great you were and how they enjoyed your fighting, but you don't have no money. So I encourage all fighters to be cynical businessmen. Don't be a robot. And it's easy from the foreign countries to get that type of fighter and pay them what you want to pay them. And they should be happy with it. And if that's the case, so be it. But I just encourage them all to be businessmen, and you have a right to be a businessman. In other sports, athletes are businessmen. You're no longer robots. It just saddens me because I came through the civil rights era. I came through all during that time. I'm a very avid historical reader of all the major events that took place in Russia, from Nikita Khrushchev to Stalin to Brezhnev to Putin. I remember the Bay of Pigs very well. My father was on the USS Ranger, the aircraft carrier, and I can remember my mother telling us, you know, it could possibly be a war, you know, a nuclear war. And here you are, 9 years old, 10 years old, and you're hearing that. That's a spooky, spooky thing. So I became very entrenched in Soviet history as a result of that. And I love the Spetsnaz, you know, some of the toughest cats you ever see in your life. And the story of how they developed in war, you know, in World War II with Hitler, how they had to go and disarm that big gun that he brought within firing range of the Soviet territory. So it's a lot of historical things that accompany that. And I'm sorry if I got off track a little bit from the fight. Sometimes when I get emotional about certain things, you know, I can go here and go there. But I would encourage all promoters, you know, treat your fighters fairly. Don't hoodwink them, and don't keep them robots, and don't keep them, encourage them and teach them how to be businessmen. And, you know, if you have a champion, he deserves a champion's ration. Again, hopefully I'm wrong. Thank you.
Thank you, Virgil. Well, let's bring up a gentleman who hasn't heard this word in quite a while in his career. The word is challenger, because the titles are on the line and he's challenging for them. But as we all know, this fight really is about, well, somebody's always got to go. Two undefeated fighters. This is about who moves up into that position of pound for pound the best in the world. And that's probably what you're going to get at the end of this fight. So let's bring up the official challenger. Undefeated since he was 13 years old, captured Olympic gold. His record now 30 victories, 15 wins by knockout. Two-time world champion, Andre Ward.
I want to thank everybody that's here today, the media, all my sponsors, obviously MGM Grand and the great team that put this fight together, HBO. Man, I was off to the side trying to mind my own business, and Kathy Doodle woke me up. You know, she started talking. I don't know why she keeps doing that, but it's interesting that the ones that are not getting in that ring are the ones that are doing the most talking. They're not feeling those punches. And So she can keep doing what she's doing. You know, I love it. You know, that's what a big promotion is all about. That's what a big fight is all about. We're not supposed to like each other. You know, his side has been doing a lot of talking, and that's fine. We love it. It's okay. It's not our first rodeo. We've been down this road before. We don't always respond right away because, and sometimes our silence is misinterpreted as we don't understand or we don't get it. No, we get it. We watch. We take notes. But in the meantime, we keep working, and then we produce come fight night. That's what we specialize in. So all the talking is great. I love it. But know one thing, I'm not taking no mess come Saturday night. I'm gonna be there. Thank you very much.
I told you, honesty is the best policy. You've heard a lot of honesty today. But clearly Saturday is going to be an epic night. Ward versus Kovalev is without a doubt going to be the fight of the year in boxing. We all know that. Rock Nation is proud to be part of it. It's in our DNA to promote big global events, and we are honored that after working on this fight for the better part of the last year, we have finally arrived at the moment of truth. There are a lot of organizations and people that have helped this event, and I'd like to thank all of them. First and foremost, Team Ward, including James Prince, Josh Dubin, who I probably have been on the phone with no less than 10 times a day for the last 100 days. Josh, we appreciate your support. And of course, Virgil Hunter. Peter Nelson and Tony Walker from HBO for bringing this fight to a global audience. Richard Sturm and Sid Greenfeig of MGM, as well as T-Mobile Arena GM Dan Quinn for hosting this event at a world-class facility. Kathy Duva and her team at Main Events, who have been our partners on this fight from the very beginning. Last but certainly not least, the city of Las Vegas, the spiritual home of the biggest events in boxing and the rightful setting for a fight that will change the face of the sport for many years to come. Thank you for coming out today, and please enjoy Saturday night's fight. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Well, it's time to hear from Team Kovalev. And here to start things off for Team Kovalev is the manager for Sergey, Mr. Egis Klimas.
Thank you, Michael, for the introduction. Thank you, everybody, to be here. Media, without you, nobody will know where we're going and what we're doing. So thank you very much, media. Wanted to thank our promoter, Main Events. Kathy Duva did a very, very good job bringing us to this stage, to this big fights. MGM ran a very, very good host. Thank you very much. Appreciate it being here. HBO pay-per-view, showing that ball to a whole audience in America. I hope I didn't miss anybody else. Of course, very, very proud to represent one of the best fighters in the world, and hopefully that we're gonna see that on Saturday night, who is a pound-for-pound boxer. I hate when trainers, managers, promoters start talking what it's going to be and how it's going to be beat each other, because we are the ones who's going to be stepping out of the ring. None of the promoters, none of the managers, none of the trainers can understand what is going to happen in the ring. It's only two warriors who's going to be in the ring, and today we have two best light heavyweight fighters in the world who's going to be showing Saturday night who is a pound-for-pound fighter. Enjoy. Saturday night will bring us, I hope, the best show we've been seeing in the years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Egis. Well, like I said, we have two great trainers in opposing camps, and let's bring up the trainer for Sergey Kovalev, a former world champion, Mr. John David Jackson.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see the press here. I want to thank two different groups. First, I want to thank Main Events. promotions. These women that main events, plus my man Joe, are truly some of the greatest people in the world. If you want to find a promotional company that'll treat you fairly, all fighters and across the board, and give you what you deserve in boxing, go see them. Number two, I'd like to thank all the press that is out here for this event. It's truly wonderful to see some of the people that, with their words, either can help boxing swim or sink. And your words help a lot. Sometimes some of you don't help us as much as we'd like to be helped, but it's so grateful I'm so grateful to see that all of you out here, because we need this to keep boxing striving and to keep it going forward. It's a wonderful, beautiful sport. Sometimes it can be a little bit funky, but all in all, it's a wonderful, beautiful sport. I want to thank all of you that came out to support and write your words down for this wonderful fight. As far as the fight is concerned, both sides have said certain things, and all the talk will stop soon. Saturday, when the day gets here, it's up to two individuals, Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward. When they step in the ring, who walks out number one, we'll leave that up to them. Two things I just want to talk about. Yesterday, someone from the press asked about Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward's last fight. I didn't really think about it that much to really answer the way I should have, but I will answer it this way. One fight does not define a fighter's career. That last fight for both fighters, it was what it truly was, a tune-up. Doesn't matter who the opponent was, they did what they were supposed to do. They both won convincingly, and to make this fight happen here. So you have to leave it that way. And the report, I can't remember what was that asked that, but that's the answer to your question. One fight does not define a fighter's career. Number two is a question that Mr. Hunter asked. And yes, brother, I do respect you and your fighter and your team. Some things I do say is to get in someone's head, but when it all boils down to it, I do respect these people, because they're very good people, wonderful gentlemen, and the whole team is very good. They're very professional. So the answer to his question was that in the last fight, it's a two-part question. He said I was there for a week. I would love to tell you that wherever you got your information from, it was bad information. I was there longer than 2 weeks. You said a week, longer than 2 weeks I was there. Longer than 3 weeks. So whoever said I was there for a week, I'm glad they said that. It makes it look like we're a bad team. I love that. But to answer your question about the cohesiveness of our team, whatever goes on in camp, whatever this agreements we may have that people say we have, I want you to remember this, all the writers out here. Come fight night, we've left the same way that we came in, undefeated, and he wins every fight. He wins the way he's supposed to win it, and he does everything that I ask of him. So, with that said, I look forward to November 19th. I'll see you there. Thank you very much.
Well, at this time, let's bring up the undefeated, reigning and defending WBA, WBO, IBF light heavyweight champion of the world from Chelyabinsk, Russia, Dame Господа, Sergey Crusher Kovalev.
Hi everybody, I'm very glad to be here. Very nice, really. Maybe even like 2-3 years ago I can't imagine that I can get this level and fight Andre Ward, undefeated boxer and Olympic champion, gold medalist, and very big respect him for his success in the pro, in the amateur career. It's really great success, but right now we're facing each other and I should prove that I'm a better. And also I would like to thanks a lot to HBO and personally Peter Nelson, my promoter, Katie Duo and Main Events Promotions, Egis Klimas, and to my sponsor Hublot. And also I very hope that our fight will be very clear and honest, and to win best of us really this fight. Very excited and a little nervous. You will see a very great fight. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Kathy, you have any comments for main events, please?
I think I just want to echo John's comments, amplify on them, to thank all of you for being here. I don't think I have to tell anybody in this room why this is a great fight, or why you should be interested in it, or why you should want to see it. You wouldn't, if you weren't here, I mean, you wouldn't be here if you didn't already know that. But we do need you to go out and carry the word out to the rest of the world. This is the fight that, you know, you bring your friend over, the one who likes boxing a little bit but isn't sure. This is the fight that you tell your friend who says, oh, MMA is better than boxing. Get him come over your house. Come and see this one, because because they're going to make big fans out of a lot of people on Saturday night, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you all.
Okay, you've met the promoters, the trainers, the fighters, and this is a press conference, so do we have any questions?
Hey, what's up, Dre? How you doing, man? I got a question for you, man. And in the boxing community, you know, you respected as, you know, one of the best fighters in the game, but, you know, for crossing over, you know, do you feel like this fight is really the fight that's going to help you really cross over and get to that level of, you know, how we respected Tommy Hearns or Sugar Ray? Do you feel like this is that fight to really help you cross over into that popular culture? Can you hear me? Okay. You can keep that. I want to ask him a question. Yeah. What is that? I mean, what do you mean when you say crossover? Help me understand that. I feel like, in a sense, you know, boxing, and maybe it's because of not even the popularity of it. I mean, when you think about the age, you think about the super fights, you think about how we still talk about how great Sugar Ray and how Hagler was in those fights. We still talk about them to this day, and that was in the 80s. You know, do you feel like you've had some great fights, you beat some great opponents, but do you feel like this is the one that's really going to help you leave your mark, you know, and really take that next level of your career?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of them, you know, but in boxing, you know, people have short memories, you know, and that's why you got to remind them. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. And another one, I'm down here from Michigan as well, so can you talk about, you know, your relationship with Claressa Shields and, you know, just how y'all two bonded, and how fun is that to have her debut on your fight card as well?
She's a beast, period. And I'm just happy that you know, she's getting everything that she's supposed to get. You know, I didn't think it was right the first time around. After she won her medal, you know, people, you know, the media and a lot of just, you know, sponsors and different things at large kind of act like it didn't happen. But she went and did it again. So that's why they call her two-time. And now I feel like she had to, you know, do twice the work to get the accolades, but hey, sometimes you got to do that, and now I think, you know, everybody's taking notice of who she is, what she possesses, and not just in the ring. She's not just a fighter, you know. She has the look, she has everything to be, you know. She already is a star and will continue to grow as a star. And I'm just happy that she's getting this opportunity, just like I did in my first professional fight on a big card on HBO. You know, for the world to see what she's all about, and they're gonna continue to see it. So I'm excited. I'm happy.
Hi, Dre. George Willis, New York Post, over here to your left. There you go.
I'm sorry. I thought he was.
We talked about this a little bit before, but Oakland with the Raiders maybe leaving and the Warriors going to a new arena. How much do you put upon yourself to be the pride of the Bay Area when it comes to boxing and your brand?
Yeah, I'm not happy about any of that at all. I'm just not. You know, but I understand it. You know, I know Mark Davis, and you know, I know the owners at the Warriors, and it's business. You know, they want to move on and try to make more money and create more revenue, and that's what it boils down to. So you know, I hope the Raiders, no disrespect Las Vegas, but I hope they stay where they are and don't come here, because we need them in the Bay Area. We've already dealt with that one time before, you know, when they came to LA. But, you know, I'm going to just continue to do what I'm doing, you know, whether they leave or whether they stay. I got to continue to do my part in the community, and hopefully, you know, as long as I'm fighting, to continue to bring big events to the Bay Area.
Sergey, right here, to your right. Right. You said that you were a little nervous for this fight. Can you tell us when was the last time you were nervous for a fight?
Every fight for me is like a very important fight. You know, like always. You know, like it's regular condition. When you have a nervous little bit, you know, it's good. If you never nervous, like it's good, it's not good. But like I'm in the best shape right now, like what I can have before this fight, for this fight.
Andre, over here. The other day we talked about the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. But I want to ask you a question about Mayweather and that Conor McGregor deal that's going on now. That he called him out. Conor called out Mayweather. Two different disciplines, really, MMA and boxing. Why would it be probably a bad idea for Conor to jump in the ring with?
Because he's fighting the best. He's fighting the best. It's not a good idea at all. Needs to leave that alone. And of course, on the flip side, if Floyd went to the octagon, you go with Conor McGregor. But I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it. You know, I mean, I respect Conor for doing it. Calling Floyd out. But I think Floyd has to be careful too, because obviously a lot of this stuff is for publicity, and he's just in some respects using Floyd's name and different things like that. And Floyd's a legend, man, so he's got to be careful not to jump into that.
A question for Andre. Despite the fact that Kovalev is the puncher in this fight, I see it as a fight where you need to be on the inside early and often. Talk about the importance of fighting on the inside, despite the fact that he'll be considered the puncher Saturday night.
I mean, it's a little bit of everything, man. It's not, and I appreciate the question, Smitty. It's not personally, I've never won big fights just doing one thing, being one-dimensional, and I typically do the opposite of what people think I'm gonna do in these big fights. So, we have a game plan, of course, and, the bottom line is making the necessary adjustments. You can't be stuck on one thing. You gotta be able to adjust on the fly, and that's what the great ones do. So, that's what I plan on doing is obviously having my head on a swivel and doing what I need to do in the moment.
Okay, thanks for all the questions. We got one more, good.
Actually, I got two. First was for Sergey. Sergey, right here. Yeah, I watched the lead up to HBO, and you said Andre was a dirty fighter, and I had no reason. I was just wondering, what was your reasoning behind that?
Because I saw a couple fights like Miguel Kessler and Bika, like he can punch elbow, he can punch like very go forward with the head, like it's not clear what I see, and it's not only my opinion, like clear fight is a clear fight. No hit punches, like elbow punches. It's a different. It's not in the boxing rules.
And then two questions for Andre. I talked to Mr. Donald Eames yesterday, and he says you have a routine. You get locked in. Is it a superstition when you get locked in, or is it just what you've been used to over the years?
Nah, locked in is a lifestyle, man. It's just you have to be. This is a sport where one punch can change everything. So for me, it's got to be on it's a daily routine, and it's times you got to step back and enjoy what you're doing and smile and have a good time. But it's just really the way I'm wired. When I go in the gym, it's like I see people, but I don't. I kind of tune everything out, and I go to work. It's not easy sparring 3-4 guys coming in the ring fresh for 12, 13, 14 rounds. Like, you got to be in the right mind frame to do something like that, and that's all that means.
And were you surprised when Sergey said that you were a dirty fighter?
I know where that comes from, They want to fight a certain kind of fight. And they want to put that out there so the referee can overcompensate, and you know, but where's the facts behind that? What fight have I been DQ'd from? What point has been taken from me? Really, the fight that he's talking about with Bika, I got fouled. I got elbowed and headbutted. So I think they need to go back and watch that one again.
I think just last question for you. Can you just talk about, a few years ago we had an interview where you talked about Christianity, and that's not something that's big in combat sports, MMA, boxing, and people, the media usually frowns upon that from what I've seen. Can you talk about that and how that's worked in your life?
Yeah, that's okay. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't have my faith in God and have a relationship with God. So, not everybody's going to agree with your belief system. Not everybody's going to agree with, you know, the way you move and what you do. And if I don't force it on anybody. But if somebody has a problem with me saying, you know, that I thank God for giving me the strength to do something, or I really don't know what to tell them, man. This is my life. This is who I am, you know. It's not something I put on. It's in me, and it's my lifestyle. So that's not going to change.
All right, somebody's O has got to go. It all goes down Saturday night at the T-Mobile Arena, courtesy of the MGM Grand of Las Vegas. And of course, it's all brought to you by Main Events, Rock Nation Sports, Crusher Promotions, and Andre Ward Promotions. Tomorrow is the weigh-in, and I don't think there'll be any problem from either one of these fighters looking at the kind of condition they're in right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for coming, and thanks to the MGM Grand for the use of this great press room.